I'll bet you all thought I was reviewing all these franchises for fun, but the truth is that I've been marked with a symbol that forces me to go through horror movie series until I've systematically taken them all down. Way too complicated of an explanation, right? Don't worry, it'll be ignored by next week. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my look at the Halloween franchise. Today, Michael's motives sort of get explained in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. The Revenge of Michael was a bit of a disaster amongst critics, fans, and the box office, making it the worst performing entry at the time. Mustafa Akkad decided to put the series on hold in order to figure out how to get the series back on track. In 1990, screenwriter and avid Halloween fan Daniel Ferrens turned in a script for Halloween 6 for Akkad. However, legal battles over the franchise halted any sort of production until the rights were purchased by Miramax Films. In 1994, several more scripts for Part 6 were turned in that weren't cutting it, so Daniel was brought back in to write a new screenplay. He gave an explanation to the Curse of Thorn set up in Part 5 that it was a cult that cursed Michael with the mark that urges him to kill and grants him immortality. They also kidnapped Jamie at the end of the previous film. Tommy Doyle, who is now obsessed with Myers, was brought back, and the Strodes, relatives of the family that adopted Laurie, would be living in the Myers house. After the filming was completed, a test screening was held for a group that has been quoted as consisting primarily of 14-year-old boys. They hated the ending, and a huge reshoot was done to correct this. However, the reshoots were done without Donald Pleasance, who died in February of 1995, although he was able to finish principal production. The original version shown at the test screening would go on to be recognized as the producer's cut, which was a hard film to find until recent years when it was made available for the public. It is essentially a completely different film from the theatrical version, and while I would like to cover it someday, I'm going to focus on the theatrical version that we did get. As I said before, Donald Pleasance was brought back as his last time as Dr. Loomis. However, Danielle Harris was replaced by J.C. Brandy as Jamie after Dimension Films couldn't come to an agreement on Harris's payment.
And I'll never forget, the woman on the other line said to me, your character is a scale character. You die in the first act. We're not giving you any more money. And I went, I guess I mean nothing to you then. Okay. I just wanted to put the money back in my bank that I spent to do the movie, which you guys are trying to replace me to begin with anyway. And I fought for it because I didn't want to have someone play Jamie. And okay, so I'm done. And that was really what had happened.
A young Paul Rudd was cast in one of his first films as the older Tommy Doyle, while George Wilbur was brought back to play Michael Myers. So with a script trying to pick up the pieces of Part 5, an ending that needed reshoots, and the final appearance of Dr. Loomis, how would this entry make any sense? Let's find out. So the movie opens by giving the audience a seizure.
Michael, please don't hurt me.
Oh, you can already tell this is going to be an editor's nightmare. Jamie, now a teenager, gives birth to a baby that is handed right over to the man in black. However, a nurse rescues the baby and returns him to Jamie to help them escape. Unfortunately, Michael is able to catch up to the nurse while Jamie flees. Kind of a nice little throwback to Bob's death from the original. Jamie makes it outside and gets inside some random dude's truck, but he's not going to be needing it after Michael snaps his neck pretty violently. Cut to the Strode's house where we meet Danny and his mother Kara.
Kill for him.
Mommy! Danny?
Another moment that triggers epilepsy and introduces a plot line that may or may not go anywhere. After comforting Danny, who has been having nightmares urging him to kill, Kara goes to change, but she spots the creep neighbor across the way spying on her. That would be Tommy Doyle, the nice little kid from the original who literally grew up into a peeping Tom. He calls into a radio show, solidifying his role as a Michael Myers hunter, but we see a much calmer Dr. Loomis is listening to the same show.
I heard the old quack was dead.
Not dead. Just very much retired.
It's been said that Donald was pretty sick during the filming, and you can see it in his performance. He's not bad by any means, but he's definitely toned down from Part 5. He's visited by his old friend Dr. Wynn. You know, that random dude from the original. He wants Loomis to return to Smith's Grove, but he wants no part in it anymore. Cut to Jamie pulling up to a bus station, attempting to call for help, but only manages to call into the Barry Sims show, not 911, the radio program Tommy and Loomis are listening to, sending out a warning about Michael's return.
Help me, Dr. Loomis, are you out there? Can you Hear me, Dr. Loomis, I need your
Please,
help.
please, no, stop the madness. What the hell is going on tonight?
She hides downstairs in the bathroom after Michael tracks her down, but she escapes, only to be run off the road minutes later into a farmhouse and caught by Michael. In her dying breath, she tells him that he can't have the baby before Michael discovers that indeed there is no baby in the truck. The next morning, we meet the rest of the Strode family, Father John, Mother Deborah, and son Tim. John is a complete asshole, bashing his entire family, including Kara, for coming back to live with them.
Before you came around, everything was going fine, till you landed on our doorstep. You and that little bastard even.
After he gives her a slap, Danny holds a knife to his stomach, almost as if he's in a trance that he eventually falls out of. Outside, Tim's girlfriend Beth is waiting for them so they can drive off to school. They pass by the boarding house where Tommy creepily stares at them, and they say hello to the equally odd house owner, Mrs. Blankenship. Inside, Tommy is replaying Jamie's message from the night before and determines that she was calling from a bus station. He manages to find the correct one, but then follows the long trail of blood that was somehow missed by the janitor, leading him to the hiding place of Jamie's baby. Cut to Loomis at the site of Jamie's murder.
It's his mark. He's come home.
Ah yes, the mark you never mentioned that was always Michael's calling card. That mark does appear on one of Danny's crayon drawings illustrating his whole family's death. Tommy arrives at the hospital with the baby, hoping to get the help he needs.
Kind of accident.
Get me a doctor, now!
Security?
Yes, there's a man who is in desperate need of help with his baby. Can you escort him out of the building? Randomly, Loomis is at the same hospital and Tommy reunites with him. He wants to talk to him more about Michael, informing him that the Strodes are in the Myers house, but they plan to meet later that night as he's chased out by security. At the Strodes house, Deborah is a little freaked out, especially when Dr. Loomis jump scares his entrance and lets her know that she's living in the Myers house, which was home to Michael's rage, and he will return. On his way home from school, Danny spots the man in black, but another nice nod to the original with the pumpkin drop. I just wish they'd stop using that goddamn sound effect every time someone pops up. Deborah calls up John to confront him about the fact that he never told them they were living in the Myers house, but true to his nature, he dismisses her frustration over the situation. She attempts to leave, but Michael is already in the house. She runs outside and apparently forgets the layout of her backyard, leading to her demise. Kara returns home, unable to find her mom, instead finding Danny alone in his room with Tommy and the baby. Nothing weird going on here. Tommy tells her to come with him to his place, and she takes up the creepy dude's offer. He explains to her the Thorn symbol, a cult that has pagan heritage and connects to Michael's murderous ways.
To offer the blood sacrifices of its next of kin on the night of Samhain.
Halloween.
The sacrifice of one family meant sparing the lives of an entire tribe.
Remember when Michael was just a guy who killed his sister and escaped 15 years later on Halloween to randomly kill back in his hometown? I miss those days. Tommy leaves to go to the town Halloween get-together, while Kara and Danny stay behind. Danny gets to hear Mrs. Blankenship's story about the history of Halloween. Yeah, the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. We've heard it before. However, she reveals something about Michael.
Michael heard a voice?
It told him to kill his family.
So, if Blankenship had just done her job and babysat little Mikey, he wouldn't have killed poor Judith. John comes back to an empty home, slightly drunk, when the power goes out. He makes his way down to the basement where he makes a bloody discovery in the washer and gets electrocuted by Michael. Yes, that is an awesome kill. Is it over the top for a Michael kill? Absolutely. Is it the best moment in the entire movie? Absolutely. It's amazing to see someone who you've been made to hate with a passion get exactly what they deserve and then some. At the Halloween party, Tim and Beth are being interviewed by the radio personality Barry Sims, who is just a crude Howard Stern ripoff. Beth reveals that Tim's family lives in the Myers house, prompting Barry to pick up the interview and move to the Myers house, but after getting in the wrong van, Somehow, Michael was able to string Sims up pretty quickly because some dumb girl thinks it's raining red when his blood drips down and his body lands. Loomis meets with Tommy, agreeing to get back to his place. Over at the Myers house, Beth and Tim have just finished having sex when he goes to get a shower. Michael slips in though and slits his throat. Kara calls over, surprised to get Beth on the phone, but when she looks over at her with Tommy's telescope, she tries to warn her that there's someone else in the room. One of the things I dislike most about this movie is the editing. It's so weirdly cut with flashes of nonsense, loud noises, and for this kill to continue both but also slow down makes no sense. While all that was going on, Kara lost track of Danny, who is now entering the Myers house. Kara runs over and finds Danny with an extreme amount of ease. However, Michael does chase after them, only to get clubbed in the head with a fire poker and fall down the stairs. He looks like he's out, but of course he grabs onto Kara, only for her and Danny to escape back over to Tommy's place. With the baby gone, Tommy wonders who else would have known about him. As Loomis says there could have only been one other person, they hear a voice call to Danny. It's the man in black, who is revealed to be Dr. Wynn. The one new character who appeared as the mysterious man? I'm so utterly stunned. He's been a part of this Thorn cult, which encloses on the group, but Kara goes and finds the baby with Mrs. Blankenship, who is also revealed to be a cult member, leading Kara to hurl herself out the window.
Where is she? Where's Kara? I feel like I've been drugged.
We have been drugged.
What the fuck just happened? Was I drugged too? There's a huge chunk of events that were just skipped over thanks to a fade to black. This movie is so damn confusing thanks to its garbage editing. Loomis knows where to find everyone and takes Tommy to Smith's Grove, where Wynn is confronted. Wynn admits Loomis was the first to see Michael's evil and wants him to join, but then Loomis just gets knocked out. Meanwhile, Tommy goes looking for Kara, but gets a jump scare from this creepy lady.
How does it feel to be damned?
Oh, shit.
That's the most genuine line delivery Paul Rudd has given this entire runtime. He's able to break Kara free from a holding room even while they're being chased by Michael. They're able to find Danny and the baby and avoid Michael, who goes on a killing spree of the cult members in a strobe light fueled massacre scene. This is a cool moment for Michael, but it's just so hard to make anything out that I get too disoriented to enjoy it to the fullest extent. There is a good kill that follows after Michael smashes a cultist's face into a barred door to break it down. The group escapes into a room and Tommy actually confronts Michael, providing him with the baby. Not sure what exactly those chemicals are or what they do. Tommy gets him one more time with an injection before beating the living shit out of him. Loomis is back on his feet to rescue Kara and the kids, while Tommy continues to go ham on Michael. Christ, this is frustrating. I'm sorry, but the editing is just so damn annoying. I can't tell what the fuck is going on except quick flashes of Michael leaking green ooze while Tommy keeps swinging. Outside, Tommy and the rest ask Loomis to join them, but he refuses, saying he has some unfinished business to attend to. Cut to this. What the fuck? My overall thoughts on Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. It's a frustrating mess. There seems to be so much going on, but it's all convoluted and amounts to nothing in the end. Jamie has a baby that the Cult of Thorn wants Michael to kill, but if he had just killed Jamie, he would have eliminated his family and the curse would have been lifted. What kind of plan is that? Danny is seeing the man in black and hearing voices throughout, setting him up to be the new Michael, but they never go anywhere with it. From my understanding, Michael heard the voices as a child too that urged him to kill his family, but were they also from the Man in Black because Blankenship was a cult member? Has Dr. Wynn been in on it since 1963? He says that Loomis noticed his pure evil, but since Michael was under the influence of the cult, wouldn't that not make him evil and just a puppet? And is Michael truly a tool of the cult? Because him butchering all the members towards the end shows that he isn't. He's just that force of nature he's always been. Thorn's goals, plans of action, and execution just don't make any sense to me and kinda wrecks Michael's mythology. With all that going on, you've got Tommy Doyle, who grew up into a creepy peeper who is a Michael hunter living across from the Myers house, which admittedly is a better rendition of the home than in part 5. Oh, and in that Myers house, Laurie's adopted father's brother is conveniently living there with his family. How the hell could they have been unaware of the fact that they're in the home of the now infamous serial killer who nearly killed their stepniece? All of this boils to a showdown in which Tommy just beats Michael with a pipe and Loomis is killed off screen. There is a good movie somewhere here, but whenever I watch it, by the end I'm just baffled. There is the producer's cut that I mentioned that actually has a somewhat coherent story, which does give more sense to the cult, but I think I'm going to review that separately. Not next week, but it's something I want to tackle at some point because I think I actually enjoy that cut more. But staying on track with the theatrical cut, my biggest issue, if you didn't figure it out by now, is the editing. The editor for this did more chopping up than Michael. The quick flashes, partnered with the screeching sound effects, are annoying. Some scenes just transition with that sound effect, and you can tell some scenes end too abruptly or characters are now conveniently together, i.e. Loomis being at the same hospital as Tommy. It's what makes this movie so hard to follow along with at times. Like, you get the sense you're only getting half of the story. I'm also not a big fan of the rock music used. It makes some moments lose their appeal when a guitar riff of the Halloween theme is played. For some positives, I do love Michael in this one. Big step up for me from 5 and even 4. The mask looks pretty great, and George Wilbur does a better job this time around at being intimidating because Michael is brutal. He seems the most angry in this entry, and his viciousness in the kills display that rage. The nurse with the head spike, Jamie on the farm equipment, John's head explosion, and the surgery room massacre are fantastic kills that let you know Michael is not fucking around. The autumn/Halloween mood is also a strong point again, similar to Halloween 4. The characters are not the strongest, but not necessarily the worst. Kara is a fine final girl, but in all honesty, I think Paul Rudd sucks as Tommy. It was his first movie, but he is so deadpan and monotone throughout that he gives a weak performance for a character we should have been excited to see return. Unfortunately, Donald Pleasance is not given much to do here. He was sick during the production, so it's understandable. It's just a shame because his role is dwindled down significantly in this version compared to the producer's cut. It was Donald's last film, and I'm forever grateful that he stuck with the iconic character until the bitter end. So Michael is improved, and there are awesome kills, but this one is just frustrating thanks to inconsistent storytelling, choppy editing, lame music, and meh characters. I give Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers 2.5 Thorn symbols out of 5. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think this one is a mess, or does it work well as an explanation of Michael's evil origins? Thoughts on Loomis's last appearance? And what was your favorite kill? Don't forget to subscribe and follow my Twitter and Instagram. Links to those are in the description. Next week, Laurie Strode is alive and returns in Halloween H2O 20 years later. Until next time, peace!